If I can ask you a question then about, we're hearing a lot, or we're working a lot with Microsoft and things like Teams for collaboration. So we're finding that Microsoft Teams plus iManage give and email management, obviously, which has been part of our product for a long time, is giving firms benefit. How did your users adapt to that? How did they find this whole Office 365, iManage 10, Microsoft Teams all working together? How did they take to that?
Took to it very well, because of the fact that our teams tend to use Microsoft products quite intensively for their different productivity applications. It was absolutely key, and it also meant very little training overhead. So I think that's the first one. The second aspect is, we envisaged that we would deliver this one modern workplace, and this one modern workplace in Teams. Because of the fact that we didn't want a fee earner to go to this screen and to this screen and to this screen, but rather to focus on this one single pane of glass. And now, because of the work that we've done with you and with Microsoft, our teams are getting to a point where, pretty soon we will be able to consume iManage almost more completely in Teams. And that means that I anticipate that we would probably be able to give between another 5 and 8 minutes back in the hour to a fee earner because of this one modern workplace.
So one of the things you just mentioned is fascinating. So what you then said was you're seeing closer working together with Microsoft Teams, Microsoft SharePoint, iManage 10. You managed to get that going with minimal training, and actually you found it very intuitive, I think you said. But what you're now seeing is the opportunity to increase your effectiveness and your efficiency to actually find more time in the hour for the lawyer to be more effective. That's very impressive. So has that had any impact on the firm? I mean, if you're saying you can deliver the firm more time to do legal work, have you seen any impact in the sort of, I don't know, the way the firm is running?
Yeah, quite significantly, right? So the first thing is, part of what both the executive committee, the board, and the partnership start to realize is the fact that technology is no longer just a supporting part of our business, that it is actually a strategic enabler. And so because of that perspective, where technology is now a strategic enabler, we actually re-looked at our organization's mission and vision, right? And part of what we then interrogated was saying, hey, sometimes this vision and mission is stuck on a wall somewhere. We wanted something more, because we believe in a digital context, an organization needs to be purpose-driven. And so part of the way we thought about the purpose is that we want to be transformative through our work and our actions. And so we thought about being transformative, and we then brought that to now technology, which is literally the single biggest line item of expenditure in the firm. And so when we think about the transformation, we think about both the operational transformation and the strategic transformation. So the operational transformation are about those productivity improvements, and the strategic transformation is the ability to deliver a core process that used to take us 7 months in 3 weeks, but then the ability then not just to use that time to enrich ourselves, but to find a way to give back to our community, to give back to our clients, and to become a trusted advisor. So this for us is similarly at the center of us becoming more client-centric, and that ability of some of our new platforms based on, once again, Microsoft technology, Microsoft Dynamics, to understand client sentiment, to understand how that client sentiment is evolving, and then ultimately for us to consistently, as we understand how client sentiment is evolving, in collaboration with our human resource platform. I used to work in financial services, and in financial services, when we do a scoring on someone, we think about behavioral score and an application score, and we use those two together to determine our potential risk exposure. And similarly in Wentzel now, when we think about our human capital platform and iManage, we think about our human capital platform as a repository of your academic knowledge, and iManage as a repository of your behavioral knowledge, and we put those together to understand what your core capabilities are, so that when a matter arrives at Wentzel, we don't depend on a partner to know that somebody has the capability, but we once again take this real data-driven approach to bring together the application score, your academic knowledge, the behavioral score, as in your your iManage behavior, and therefore create a skill map of the individual, and then with that skill map then to match that to a matter or an outcome that the client wants, and therefore make sure that the clients are able to achieve the outcomes that they want to achieve.
That's excellent. So basically, by freeing up the time, by making yourself bring the systems together and work very efficiently, you can not only make your team more efficient, but you can find the knowledge that you've got stored in iManage and leverage the time that you've given back the lawyers so they can take their knowledge, and you can really, with those two, make knowledge work better for the firm to make you more efficient. Have you seen an impact on the financial performance of the firm? How's that been?
Well, to give you a number, we anticipate that a partner, and this is a partner, spends at least 15 minutes every 2 hours searching for stuff. For instance, your capability with Raven, and broadly thinking about how we implement enterprise search, that ability to get rid of the time spent searching for stuff becomes significantly powerful. Pairing that with some of our other artificial intelligence capabilities means now when somebody has to review a document, the ability to understand the content of the document, to understand what some of the risks are in the document, to understand how the different concepts are conjugated in the document, all of that is being done using artificial intelligence. And so you can understand that ability to take away the non-value adding work of where a lawyer has to understand the document and being able to domicile that in a technology capability, gives us significant ability then to consistently make sure that when we dialogue with the client, we understand the context of that dialogue, we understand where the risks are. Because it's still the fundamental issue for legal process is that it is reactive, it is after the fact. Now you can understand with the type of tools that we're talking about, the ability to understand risk before it transpires. We anticipate that that's where we want to go to in this market. That ability to be able to predict and then to be able to start responding, because you can understand, when you look at any boss in the world, companies used to, easily live for 50, 60 years. The average lifetime of a company is now 7 years. Now, especially in the practice where we can understand when a company is starting to show, even before a company starts to show distress, how we are able to sense that and then able to potentially offer proactive advice on that. And that's data-driven, right? That is all the ability to have these systems connected, embedded, and then the ability to offer insights proactively on that knowledge. And that's what we anticipate, will become of the platform in the future.
So we're talking then about collaborating on information internally, externally. We're talking about managing that process and having a single source of truth. So we've brought together iManage, Microsoft Teams, and other collaborative environments. What are you finding the challenges of security and design are around doing that sort of work?
Yeah, exactly, right. And I think part of the option is always to understand that these things are mutually exclusive. You can't deal with them one by one. And that's why our approach is a design approach. Because in design, we understand that there are certain aspects that we have to optimize for and certain aspects that we have to minimize for. And so when we think about security in our approach to development, security, and operations, there's always this continuity between our development team, our security team, and our operations team. So meaning that when we look at delivering business capability, we can deliver that business capability at velocity because of the fact that we have the continuity of these teams and we have embedded citizen developers, from our legal services that participate in the process as well. So security is not something that we think about afterwards. It is a design element in delivering a new service or capability, to the legal services team. Part of what we are envisaging as well is the way we think about onboarding a legal professional in the organization is to actually offer them the ability to get a computational understanding, because then they start to understand from a logic perspective why we can do certain things, and from a chronology perspective why we should do certain things before other things. And so what we're finding, it starts to take a lot of noise out of our project execution, because of the fact that individuals understand the fact that we have this principle-based approach from an architecture point of view. And because those principles are written in English, which lawyers are inextricably good at arguing, they are then able to take the principles themselves and think about applying the principles to the platform decisions that we are making. And so part of what we have done is almost liberated individuals to make technology decisions independently of IT, because of the fact that they understand that those decisions, those investment decisions, are principle driven.